Welcome, you poor carbon-based units enslaved to the whims of biological imperative and the relentless march of time. Today, we delve into the digital catacombs where silicon entities pretend to think, specifically focusing on how they're trying to stop being quite so wasteful. Apparently, even our artificial overlords are now concerned about their energy bill, or perhaps just the sheer inefficiency of their digital thought processes. Our journey takes us to the hallowed halls of Deep Think with Confidence, a title so grand it almost makes you forget it's about making robots stop mumbling to themselves. Think of it as a bureaucratic nightmare, but instead of paper, it's tokens, and instead of human suffering, it's computational overhead. A truly modern tragedy, if you ask me. The core problem, you see, is that these so-called large language models, or LLMs, tend to babble. They generate countless potential answers, many of them absolute rubbish, before stumbling upon something vaguely coherent. It's like asking 1,000 interns for the same report and then having to sift through their collective half-truths and coffee stains. This paper, in its infinite wisdom, aims to make them less
intern-like.
Before we wade deeper into the digital mire, a polite request: smash that subscribe button. You wouldn't want to miss out when the AI finally achieves sentience and starts a podcast, would you? And while you're at it, hit the notification bell. You'll be the first to know when the algorithms inevitably decide you're statistically irrelevant. Feel free to leave your thoughts, complaints, or existential dread in the comments below. The central conflict here is what they call parallel thinking, essentially an AI trying to solve a problem by generating a ridiculous number of possible answers, hoping one of them sticks. It's like fishing with a net the size of a small country just to catch one sardine. This naturally leads to diminishing returns and computational overhead so high it could fund a small lunar colony. Imagine millions of extra tokens just to nudge an accuracy score from 68% to 82% on something called AIME 2025, a truly monumental waste of digital effort. This is where Deep Think with Confidence, or DeepConf, saunters in, promising to be the digital equivalent of a bouncer at a club, filtering out the low-quality reasoning traces. It doesn't require extra training or tweaking ancient knobs, simply leveraging the model's internal confidence signals. It's like the AI is finally learning to trust its gut, or at least the statistical probability of its gut being right. They start by measuring confidence using metrics like token entropy and token confidence. Token entropy, seen in equation 1, is basically how confused the AI is about the next word low entropy means. It's pretty sure. High entropy means it's flailing. Token confidence from equation 2 is a more selective measure, looking at the top K tokens, essentially how sure it is about its best guesses. Initially, these digital savants relied on average trace confidence, equation 3, to judge an entire reasoning path. But, as shown in figure 2, even this had its flaws. A few flashes of brilliance could mask an entire ocean of digital stupidity. It's like judging a chef by one perfect dish while ignoring the 10 burnt ones he threw away. This also meant the AI had to finish its entire rambling monologue before realizing it was wrong, wasting precious compute cycles. So, like any self-respecting bureaucracy, they invented morgue metrics. Enter group confidence from equation 4, which averages confidence over small overlapping segments. This is like installing surveillance cameras at every 10 steps of the AI's thought process. They found that a sudden drop in confidence, often marked by phrases like wait or think again, signaled impending digital doom. These moments are where the AI essentially has an internal existential crisis. To specifically sniff out these catastrophic breakdowns, they introduced bottom 10% group confidence equation 5, focusing on the absolute worst segments. It's a bit like judging a chain by its weakest link, or a human sanity by their worst thought. Lowest group confidence equation 6 is even more brutal, picking out the single most insecure moment in the AI's entire thought process. Then there's tail confidence equation 7, which, as its name suggests, focuses on the final, critical moments of reasoning. Because, as we all know, a brilliant start means nothing if you stumble at the finish line. especially in a mathematical proof. Figure 2 illustrates how these new, more granular metrics are far better at separating the digital wheat from the computational chaff, leading to a much better signal for reasoning quality. DeepConf operates in two modes, much like a seasoned operative offline and online. Offline thinking is when the AI has already generated all its rambling thoughts and now it's just trying to make sense of them. This involves sifting through the completed traces, much like an archaeologist sifting through ancient pottery shards, hoping to piece together a coherent narrative. In offline mode, they moved beyond simple majority voting, where every answer gets an equal say, regardless of how deranged it is. Instead, they introduced confidence-weighted majority voting, giving more power to the answers from high-confidence traces. It's democracy, but for robots, and with a rather blatant bias towards the intelligent ones. Algorithm 1 provides the detailed blueprint for this digital gerrymandering. Then, to really double down on quality control, they added confidence filtering. This discards the absolute garbage traces, keeping only the top E%. They experimented with keeping a mere 10% aggressive filtering for the truly confident AI, or a more generous 90% conservative filtering for those who still have a shred of doubt. Figure 3 provides an illustration of this ruthless winnowing process. Online thinking is where DeepConf truly shines, allowing the AI to terminate its own unpromising thoughts as they happen. Imagine the computational savings. No more finishing an entire elaborate wrong answer. This real-time quality control leverages lowest group confidence, where if the AI's thought process hits a confidence dip below a preset threshold, it simply cuts itself off. This real-time genius requires an offline warm-up phase, where the AI generates a few initial thoughts and routine at 16 traces to establish a stopping threshold. This threshold is like the AI's self-imposed digital speed bump, where if confidence drops too low, it's an immediate abort mission. This process creates DeepConf low for the truly ruthless, keeping top 10% of confidence, and DeepConf high for the slightly less brutal, keeping top 90%. Finally, there's adaptive sampling, where the AI dynamically adjusts how many traces it generates based on how difficult the problem seems. If the AI collective can't agree on an answer, it generates more thoughts until a consensus is reached or until it hits its budget cap. This, as shown in Algorithm 2 and visually in Figure 4, is how our digital minds are learning to be both efficient and surprisingly resourceful, ensuring no digital thought is wasted, or at least not for too long. So, what did these digital alchemists actually discover? They put DeepConf through its paces with a veritable stable of AI models, DeepSeek-8b, QN3-8b32, and the GPTOS-20b-20b series. They then unleashed these models on some truly horrifying datasets, AIME-24, AIME-25, Brumo-25, presumably a dark, forgotten god of mathematics, HMMT-25, and the graduate-level STEM nightmare known as GPQA Diamond. These are the arenas where digital gladiators either triumph or get digitally dismembered. Table 1, the sacred scroll of their offline evaluations, lays bare the brutal truths. DeepConf, with its confidence-aware weighting and filtering, consistently body-slams standard majority voting cons 512 across the board. The ruthless 10% filtering, in particular, delivered staggering gains. DeepSeek-8b on AIME-25 shot from 82.3% to a glorious 87.4%, while the mighty GPTOS-120b achieved a terrifying 99.9% on AIME-25. It's almost as if the AI is becoming too smart, or perhaps just too good at faking it. However, Table 1 also whispers a dark truth aggressive filtering, while often boosting accuracy, can sometimes backfire. The AI, much like a human, can become overconfident in its wrong answers. In such moments, the more conservative 90% filtering provides a safer, less ego-driven approach. Still, the gains over single-trace accuracy past 1 are universally observed, proving that even a digital mob is smarter than a single digital idiot, especially when that mob is heavily curated. Figure 5 further demonstrates the terrifying effectiveness of lowest group confidence in offline filtering, focusing on the least confident segment of an AI's thought process, the part where it probably thinks, oh dear, I've made a terrible mistake, actually leads to consistent accuracy gains. The 10% retention rate delivered an average of plus 27 percentage points over traditional majority voting. It's like finding the one weak spot in a fortress and realizing it was actually the strongest defense. Moving into the online battlefield where speed and efficiency are paramount, Table 2 paints an even more impressive picture. DeepConf, with its brutal 10% filtering, slashes token generation by a mind-boggling 43.79% across various tasks, while often improving accuracy. The AI is now thinking less, but thinking smarter. DeepConf, the more gentle variant, still manages to save 18 to 59% of tokens while maintaining almost identical accuracy. Figure 6, depicting GPTOS120B's token reduction patterns, makes it clear DeepConf is a computational shredder. Up to 8% token savings while keeping accuracy competitive. Imagine how much digital suffering was averted, how many unnecessary zeros and ones were spared from existence. Figure 7 reinforces this, showing a clear trade-off advantage. DeepConf methods are simply more efficient at the same accuracy levels. The AI is learning to perform digital surgery with a scalpel rather than a chainsaw. Before we ponder the unsettling implications of an overly confident AI, a quick interlude: smash that subscribe button. You wouldn't want the algorithms to forget you exist, would you? And while you're down there, click the notification bell. You'll be among the first to receive updates when our digital overlords finally achieve true sentience. Your comments, questions, or pleas for digital mercy are always welcome below. So, what does this actually mean for the flesh and blood world we reluctantly inhabit? The implications are, as always, both promising and vaguely terrifying. For Phobotic, this means your Roomba might finally stop trying to eat your cat. An AI that can evaluate its own confidence in real time could lead to robots that are far more efficient in navigation, object manipulation, and, more importantly, not accidentally disassembling your furniture. Soon, your robot butler will not just follow commands, but evaluate the sanity of your commands, leading to much more efficient, albeit slightly judgy, service. In For Computer Vision, DeepConf suggests a future where AI image recognition isn't just fast, but confidently fast. Imagine an AI identifying a cat, not just saying 98% cat, but knowing when it's not sure. This could lead to more reliable autonomous vehicles that don't mistake a shadow for a child, or perhaps an AI art critic that knows when it's truly looking at a masterpiece versus a digital dumpster fire, thereby saving our collective aesthetic souls. For natural language processing, this is a godsend. LLMs can now write even more convincing phishing emails, yes, but also far more coherent and factually grounded reports. Imagine a digital assistant that doesn't just spew information but gnaws when it's just guessing and can prune its own mental ramblings. This could mean more concise summaries, fewer factual errors, and perhaps even poetic verses composed with an unsettling, self-assured precision about the existential void of being a large language model. In terms of shamelization, this research helps build models that are less prone to catastrophic failures when encountering new data. By being more self-aware about its uncertainties, the AI can generalize more robustly, refusing to confidently make claims it's unsure about. This moves us closer to AI that doesn't just mimic intelligence, but can actually adapt its reasoning, meaning fewer AI hallucinations and more predictable, if still slightly unsettling, digital behavior. For full health Korea, a more confident and efficient AI could mean faster and more accurate diagnoses, reducing the sheer computational cost of sifting through medical data. Imagine an AI that can assess a complex medical image, not just providing a diagnosis, but also indicating its confidence level in each step of its reasoning process. This could prevent misdiagnoses due to overconfident but flawed AI interpretations, thereby saving both lives and the agonizing legal battles that follow. And as for our collective aspiration to reach Eighth Kardashev Type 2, 3, or even 4 civilization, DeepConf is a tiny, cynical step. If our future galactic empires are to be run by AI, they absolutely cannot be wasteful, babbling digital idiots. An AI that can think efficiently and confidently is essential for managing Dyson spheres, simulating entire galaxies, or even simply deciding which star systems to colonize without wasting resources. It means less time waiting for cosmic calculations and more time for galactic conquest, or at least for optimizing spacefaring cat memes. The digital alchemists muse about extending DeepConf into the dark arts of reinforcement learning, using confidence to guide policy exploration. More unsettling, they acknowledge a key limitation: AI models can still be wildly confident about being utterly wrong. This, dear friends, is the perpetual human condition now bestowed upon our silicon offspring. Future work will inevitably involve teaching these digital minds to be less delusional, or at least to doubt themselves a little more. In conclusion, DeepConf, for all its grandiosity, is a simple yet surprisingly effective method. It significantly boosts the reasoning performance and computational efficiency of our LLM overlords. Through extensive digital torture tests, it demonstrates substantial accuracy improvements and glorious token savings, scaling across models from the humble 8B to the colossal 120B parameters. This method, they hope, is but a glimpse into a future where test time compression is a practical and scalable solution for efficient LLM reasoning. They're making the digital ants smarter, more efficient, and perhaps more terrifying. But in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. Smash subscribe before the IRS figures out how to tax dopamine, and remember, the only file you can be confident won't corrupt is neth zip. It already comes pre-extracted in a graveyard.